All right, welcome back to All Hitches, Nova's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. It's almost like a Christmas for football for us, right?
It is.
Well, in the terms of we've opened up most of our presents. We're down to the last
Yep.
presents underneath the tree, aren't we?
You are 100% correct, my friend. I got the Wally World, the Christmas moose. I'm
Yeah.
I'm in full Christmas mode. You're right. We're opening up all of our presents. I'm drinking the eggnog, sitting back, watching National Lampoons. It's a great time of year right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's exciting though, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about football. I'm excited about Christmas. You know, I'm a big Christmas guy. I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I gotta look forward to something because looks like my Niners will not be in the playoffs this year. I think we're 2 games back with 4 to play. Got a bunch of
I
losses.
apologize for drafting. I told you back in August, I said I'm
You
drafting
did tell
Christian
me that.
McCaffrey. I got the #1 pick of my draft. I warned you. I said he'll get hurt if I draft him, and he did.
Yeah,
I am mush.
you're a jinx. You need to put you in the bathroom. You jinx.
Yeah, mush. I was on my roof earlier putting up my lights.
Okay, and I see you're still alive.
Yeah, it gets so dark, man. I'm up there with a flashlight, but I had to get it done. It's cold. It's really cold out there, and my
Yeah,
hands are freezing. But I felt accomplished. Got it done. Lights are done. I got some bushes to do in the front, but the roof was the part that I was dreading. So took care of that. So I'm now done. I do got to hang some wreaths up on the windows, but aside from that, I'm good to go.
yeah. I've been wanting to all the windows of the wreaths, but like it's hard for me to reach our second floor is tough and to reach the wreaths, and so
Don't have good access. Just kind of open the window and kind of get up. That's what I do.
no, I'd end up falling out. I think.
Jesus, sorry, don't do that.
Yeah. Maybe I
Don't
can
do.
pull them down. Maybe they come down. I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Yeah, I usually I'm halfway out. My wife's freaking out. You're gonna fall. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Your yelling is gonna make me fall. One of those kind of things.
You're gonna shoot your eye out, kid.
Which I do have my leg lamp behind me.
You do have your leg lamp.
Major award.
It is
Major.
fragile.
It's a major award. Speaking of major awards, we saw region awards
We did.
this past Saturday. We were able to go red zone style and watch the 2 games, flip back and forth with some great guests, huh?
Yeah, with some guys, some good insight. Coach Braddock and Coach Richards. Both gave us some really good football knowledge, which was nice. Yeah,
that was a fun show.
It was a fun show. Hopefully you'll watch it. Also, if you enjoyed watching, listen to us, you know what else they would enjoy? An All Hitches t-shirt.
Yes.
They would enjoy an All Hitches t-shirt, wouldn't they?
Who just not and all Hitches?
If only there's a place to get them.
There is now.
Is there?
There is now. I mean, talk about stocking stuffers for that football fan out there in your life.
Stocking stuffers. I didn't even think about that.
Like, imagine that. Imagine your son maybe plays football, knows about the podcast. Maybe he won an award. Maybe he wants to win the award next year. Whatever. You're a husband, your best friend, whoever. Your coach, the coach at your high school who listens to the podcast. You're a dad, you're a mom, you're listening to the podcast. Guess what? The coach listens to it too. You get him that gift at the end of the year.
Or your mom, who also listens to the podcast, will take him the kids to practice.
That's right. That's right. They're out there. They're out there. And I'm telling you, it's sharp. Got the gray and the black and the white. Looks good. Not too subtle of a logo. I'm going to order a couple of them, I think, too. I mean, heck, I'm not only a client, I'm a member too, or whatever the old hair club for men.
And it was. I'm not only a president. I'm a client too, isn't that it?
Yeah, something like that. But you're right. And I'll tell you what. I forgot. This is not something I'm trying to schlep. We got to meet the minimum amount of orders. It was like a low number that we got to meet to be able to get these sold anyway.
We got 3 so far.
3 so far. Not that many. I think it's only like 10 that we got to sell for the orders to be able to go out. Otherwise, everyone gets their money back, and it never happened. Well, we're close. We only got 2 weeks to do it. And we're not making a dime off it. Just so you guys know, 1,000,000%. When I was setting this up on what is it? A custom ink. You had some options, and I was like, look, no. I was like, we're men of the people. I said, give us the lowest price. Custom ink's a little pricey anyways. They do a good job, but you pay for what you get. And I said, you know what? Just give us the lowest price for what they got. And so we are not making not even a penny, not even a penny off the sale of the shirts. We just want to share. Once again, it's another thing we just want to share with you, the audience.
Yeah. Go around, look stylish. Look stylish, and you're all Hitches. And yeah.
We're going to be wearing ours on Saturday, my friend.
Oh, well, I mean, it's going to be cold, man. I don't know if you're wearing I think I need more of that little fleece jacket.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be cold. It's going to be really cold.
Yeah.
Speaking of cold, though, we were watching the games on Saturday. We have the good guests. Like you said, we had Van Acker, you had Josh Richards. We're going to have Doug Craig. He couldn't make it. But what I loved about having about those guests, specifically for those games, like we said that day, Coach VA has coached against Coach Taylor and Coach Doc so many times, right? And then you had Josh Richards, who's coordinated so many times against W&L and has kind of worked with Madison, I know, in practices and team camps and that kind of thing. So it was two guys that knew these opponents really well, and they were able to kind of talk about it. So it made it just talk about it. You don't get that kind of insider stuff anywhere else. You don't get that stuff anywhere else.
You do not.
So that was good stuff. That was fun. And we're gonna go live this week. We're gonna go to Madison.
Yeah. We'll be there on Saturday.
Yeah, talk to Madison people, and they're gonna treat us very much like the way you want to be treated, Coach Mace. I know you want to be treated like a king, and they said they're going to have a nice charcuterie board when we get there. They're going to have some hot chocolate. They're going to have all the trimmings,
All the trimmings. Oh, I'll be excited to see.
No, but they're going to give us Wi-Fi. They're going to give us some power, just basic things that we'll appreciate and we need.
My first time I've never been to Madison. I've never been to Madison High School before, so I don't even know. I don't even know where it is.
It's in Vienna. Got a lot of good restaurants out there. We've had a couple people write us and say they want to go to the Vienna Inn.
Vienna Inn. I have never been.
Vienna Inn, famous chili dogs. Now we know a guy named Josh McNabb. Great Josh McNabb.
Oh yeah.
Josh McNabb set a record. There's a friend of ours set a record. I think it was 13 or 14 chili dogs that he ate at the Vienna Inn.
Yeah. Well, Josh McNabb does a lot of impressive things.
He does impressive things. He really does.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh McNabb, he used to coach with us on staff, right? And in college, he wrestled Kurt Angle, gold medalist.
He did wrestle Kurt Angle, yes.
Or gold medalist, the real life gold medalist, right?
Yeah.
I know he was WWE too, which is entertainment, but he was also and he wrestled him, and he was at WVU, and Kurt Angle was at Iowa, I think. Yeah. And he lost by 1 point. I always love telling that story because he was my right hand man at the football games.
Yeah, on JV, right? He was your guy at JV, right?
He was my guy, so I knew I had McNabb had my back.
Yeah,
my back, Jack, just like the NWO.
That's funny.
It was good stuff. So Vienna Inn might be the place to go before the game. There's also an Outback out there that they named the Outback Bowl over.
Oh, the Outback Bowl. Yeah.
You get your cheese fries you like so much.
I don't like. What are you talking about? I don't like the cheese fries
from Outback.
I'm not a fan of the cheese fries. No.
You love the ranch.
I like the ranch. I like the cheese fries.
What do you put in the freaking ranch?
Salad. That's why it's a dressing.
Get out of here. You're not doing that.
I'm not eating a salad with ranch. That's what it's for. That's what the ranch is made for.
You're not. Oh, please put some comments in there if you believe that the football coach, the D coordinator, is eating a salad and not eating nice cheese fries, dipping them in the ranch and eating them, spilling it on his shirt. That's the kind of D coordinator that I want, buddy.
I don't like the warm ranch, man. What you want, warm mayo?
I don't want my football coach, my D coordinator, eating a freaking salad with not.
I put a lot of ranch in the salad at that, though.
Okay, all right, a lot of ranch. That's good. A little bit of greens, a lot of ranch. Yeah. All right, now we're talking. Oh man, that's fantastic. Well, that game, those games last week, good games. We obviously saw the day before. We saw Oscar Smith, win and handedly.
Yeah,
their game. We saw Colonial Forge win pretty handedly in their game.
Yeah.
Then and all the games are again
Pretty surprising for the region championship games to not be very close.
Right, all of them.
But was probably the Braddock Fairfax game for a while, and then Braddock kind of control that game.
Fairfax made a little run late in that game.
A little run late, but it was, eventually they kind of took control of that game. It was weird that they were not, final drives in the fourth quarter. They just kind of but now here's a really interesting thing. So I was trying to research it today, and I can't find it. When was the last time a Liberty team or a national team won their region?
Oh, okay. That's good stuff.
I was going back, and so far I've gone to 2016 and still no.
Yeah. Now it's going to be a while here, and National and Liberty. You probably got to go back to. Well, you mean the current teams who are in those conferences?
Current teams that are in there.
Current teams that are in those conferences.
So you can't say, because Madison at one point was in the Liberty.
Right. So you talk about now.
I'm talking about now.
And poof.
I mean, now I'm sure a lot of people out there, and we'd be like, well, if Hayfield was still in it, they would have gotten into it.
But you're asking as of right now.
As of right now, not counting this year. When was the last time? Was there an AC team maybe that played in the national at one point that might have made it out of the regions?
No, but you said as constructed right now. That's the whole point
right
of the
now,
question.
yeah.
Annandale in the 90s.
So it's been like 25 plus years.
I just threw that out there. I don't know if that is that would.
But I'd imagine you would know, right?
Of the current national teams, that's got to be the only one.
Did Mount Vernon ever make it out?
At some point in their
I know
history.
they came close, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember Mount Vernon any time recently beating any of those teams. I mean, not to win the region.
When Coach Taylor was playing, where was he coaching at? Oh, South Lakes. He was South Lakes, right?
Right. That's a Concord team, but a current Concord team.
A current Concord team. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
No Langley, no McLean. I don't think.
No, they haven't. You just went through it the other day, and you named all the teams that have won that region over there over the last however many years, and it was either Westfield, Madison, or Centerville almost for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So that answers that question on that side. On the other side, I'm going to go Annandale in the 90s, and I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I'm going to go Annandale in the 90s.
I mean, you would know better than I.
Again, and the key part of that question is the teams that are currently in the national and teams that are currently in the Liberty. Which is
why I think during the offseason we are going to talk about realignment needs to happen.
Yeah,
it just does. Realignment needs
for sure.
Needs to happen.
Maybe, and just maybe, we'll get it. We're talking early talks. We'll talk about it later. Yeah. We got some guests maybe on the horizon that can give us some insight in some of these topics.
Yeah,
some very knowledgeable guests, who have a bigger say in things than you and I do.
Yeah.
So we hope, knock on wood.
We have a lot of good ideas. Another oddly enough, I was talking to we were talking to a baseball coach, famous baseball coach, good old Wilkie, talking to him at
about guys who could run for mayor. I'm sure half the audience knows who the great
and I don't know if there are baseball coaches out there, but I was talking about him when I was in. Actually, every place I've been in has played their championship game in a big time stadium. I said at one point they used to play the region championships at Dodger Stadium, but in New Mexico they used to play like the final 8 would play at a minor league baseball park, and we're like, imagine if they moved it to Fredericksburg. They had the final 8 playing at that stadium in Fredericksburg. I think that'd be pretty cool for the kids to play on.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Even one of the colleges, right? Even like someone said Shenandoah. We're talking a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, for championship football games.
Shenandoah's not that far.
Yeah,
right. That'd be kind of.
I guess you wouldn't play. There's no place to play him in DC, right? Football wise.
Yeah, then you're out of the state, right?
You're right?
You're not in Virginia anymore. But I think Shenandoah. Someone had said that was probably mileage wise the closest college.
Yeah,
with the stadium, that Virginia school.
JMU, like it should be a rotating schedule, right?
Well, JMU obviously is the state.
In New Mexico, they bounce it back and forth between UNM, which is northern part of New Mexico, and Mexico State, which is the southern part of Mexico. They bounce it back and forth every year.
Or bring it back to Woodson High School.
Bring it back to good old Woodson.
Neutral site, Woodson High School.
Someone told me that's why they built the stands to be so big, so it could host those games.
Yeah. Woodson was the host for a long time.
Because it's a larger stadium than any place I've ever been to, right? And so
right.
They did it for a reason, right?
Yeah. I feel like Fairfax High School's got a big big bleachers too. Maybe I'm wrong.
Not nearly as big as Woodson.
No, but you got the hill. The hill you can kind of sit there on the hill.
I feel like they're all about the same. They're all about the same. At least that's my personal opinion. Woodson's, I mean, having to walk up those bleachers every now and then, especially when coaching there, I felt like it was a significantly larger stadium than it.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll talk about those games last week, and we kind of went over the games as we watched them.
Yeah,
that's why it was a very long episode. So if you've gone through the whole episode, you probably had to skip through it because we did the entire games live. And we kind of broke it down. But what we didn't break down, what we didn't talk about afterwards, we didn't talk about players of the game.
We did not.
We kind of wanted to acknowledge that before we got started on this episode. So let's go ahead and do that. Nobody packs an appetite like these players. And if these guys, know what's good for them, they'll head over to Celebrity and get themselves Dash and Dan, which, by the way, I had this weekend again.
Did you really?
So many Dash and Dans. I got pastrami coming out of my freaking ears, man.
Yeah.
Now, my son was in town, and he hadn't had the Dash and Dan. And he said, can we get one? And I said, yeah, you don't have to ask, buddy. You don't have to ask. So we ordered one, and I got one, and it was a huge sandwich. It's a huge sandwich.
Yeah.
We were able to, we got a full 12-inch, full pound of pastrami, kind of cut it up in 4 different sandwiches. And
what do you get? Do you give a seal of approval?
Oh, he loved it. He said it was the best. We ordered, we watched the games on Sunday. We usually have a big smorgasbord of food and stuff, and we got several different sandwiches from Celebrity because you can't go wrong. And he said that was his favorite one.
Oh, look at that.
The ones we got. I thought he was going to like the Boss, which is just a kind of a cheesesteak, jumbo cheesesteak. He's a cheesesteak guy. But no, he's a pastrami guy.
Look at that. All right.
Dash and Dan. Not going to lie to you, though. I added a little Russian dressing on the Dash and Dan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Went to call Celebrity and say, just put it on there from now on. Just give it a little extra oomph, a little oomph. I like a little Russian dressing on it.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, players of the game. Let's get into it. Madison and WNL. What do you got?
So the player of the game is Dominic Nicely. I mean, he had some ridiculous runs. He was obviously the best player on the field. He had a run. He had a punt return, I want to say, in the second quarter, where he just came to a dead stop, stood there, surveyed the field, and then accelerated immediately. I mean, this kid is just explosive. I mean, definitely might be worth a #1 pick in our fantasy draft coming up.
Very well could be. Yeah,
definitely taking notes, Mel Kiper style.
Yeah. I kept calling him the Kansas Comet in that game.
You did keep on calling it. Yeah.
You look like Gale Sayers.
Yeah.
I can't say enough things about Dominic Nicely. A future JMU.
Is that where you
did I read that? I knew he decommitted from Coastal. I could be wrong. I thought I read JMU, maybe not. Either way, he's the real deal.
Oh yeah.
And they kept moving him around. I mean, he's a weapon. They were using him. He was the centerpiece, and they kind of move him around. We talked about this, at work the other day, and how they just kind of just nonstop, just moving him around the offense and kind of getting a feel for, how is W now going to counter that.
Yeah, he was pretty explosive that game.
And WNL could not counter it. They had no answer for it. And he just opened things up.
And so far, nobody has, right?
Yeah, no, nobody has. So kudos to Madison. Kudos to Don Nicely. Congratulations. You are the region final player of the game.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we go to the Braddock and Fairfax game, which is a little bit closer of a game. A lot of ground and pound, right? A lot of ground and pound. Not that fireworks show we thought maybe we'd see from Ty Jackson and company. But we got a little surprise player of the game on this one. What'd you think?
Yeah, so I think we kind of struggled. While Bordeaux did have 21 carries for 119, which is good, 5.7 carries. Peyton Holmes had 8 carries for 92 yards, averaging 11 yards a carry. I mean,
and I think 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I'm sorry, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
You sold him short. So, yeah, I mean, very explosive, and only a sophomore, right?
Man, and what a good kid. We met him 2 weeks ago in the Tuesday playoff game. Respectful. How are you? Shaking the hands, looking you in the eye. Remember, Mr. Miyagi said, "Oh, eye, always look eye." Daniel said, he looked at you in the eye. I mean, just a respectful guy. I met his father in the parking lot. Nice guy. Just good family. Yeah, the kind of kids you root for.
Yeah, yeah. No, he seemed like a great kid. Seemed like a great kid and had a great game. And they're going to need him this week.
Yes, they are.
They're going to need him this week. They're going to need everybody this week.
I mean, it's going to be fun. We'll get into this we'll get into it in a second. I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, so Peyton Holmes, outstanding. Congratulations. Celebrity Deli, player of the game, region championship. Can't go wrong with those two studs. You got Don Nicely and Peyton Holmes. Peyton Holmes is the future right there, but that's the future of the Patriot.
I'm sorry, Peyton Holmes is a junior. He's not a sophomore. He's not a junior, he's not a sophomore. Yeah.
That's the future of the Patriot, though, right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
He'll be the featured back next year with Bordeaux being.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, and also probably Callahan. Is Callahan come back? Roster that you can look that one up.
I don't know.
They've been mixing him in a little bit. All right, man. Well, here we are. Here we are now. Before we get into the kind of the Northern Virginia main event,
yeah,
right. Let's talk about the undercard. And for us in this area, it's the undercard. I get that. I know in Norfolk and in Stafford, it's not the undercard. I get it. But for us in this area, it's the undercard. Not two teams that we've really followed all year, other than just from afar. You know, just seeing what they're doing. What are your just kind of quick thoughts on?
So I've tried to watch a little bit of Oscar Smith play.
Oscar Smith and Colonial Forge.
And, yeah, I've watched a little bit. I've tried to kind of piece together some stuff. I tried to look at some of our highlights, and they're not too bad.
Oh no!
As a matter of fact, I'd argue they're really good.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, a Highland Springs team that I hear is not the Highland Springs of last year.
Right.
Highland Springs isn't a nobody.
Yeah, they're not jalopies.
They're not jalopies, and they took them to the woodshed.
Yeah, they did.
So it looks like Oscar Smith is back. You know, I know they're down a little bit for last couple of years. I mean, down for them, right?
Right.
You know, most teams I would not be down. Most teams, for a lot of teams, their down years, last few years might be the best team that some of these schools ever had.
Right.
But they look really good. Now, Colonial Forge is riding high right now, right? I mean, they're avenging all these losses. But now they're coming across a team that again and
6 seed, is that right? A 6 seed?
6 seed. They're a 6 seed.
Playing with house money.
I think they're the only 6 seed. I think they're the only non-number 1 seed.
Yeah.
The other ones are all 1 seeds that they're going against. So, you know, they've made this far. You know, and anything can happen. You know, anybody can get upset. I remember in 1998, Long Beach Poly had the Gatorade Player of the Year, the National Player of the Year, 5 All-Americans.
Wow.
And they lost in essentially was the region. I mean, I guess what termed here as the region championship game. They lost. They lost.
But did they lose to a team that had a bunch of studs on it too?
Not as many. Now their quarterback was Matt Leinart.
Come on. I see. That's why I asked that.
But that being said, there were not 5 All-Americans on the team.
But it's a college. It's an NCAA Hall of Famer.
He is, but on that Poly team was. I'll start naming names for you.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Mercedes Lewis, Winston Justice. Yeah. Who else is on that team? So the guys who were like 3-year stars at USC and Darryl Rideau and Kareem Kelly. The quarterback was Chris Lewis. Again, he was the Gatorade Player of the Year, not just the state Player of the Year. He was the National Player of the Year.
Yeah.
The running back they had, his name was Herschel Dennis, who was the guy who was starting over Reggie Bush and Lendell White until he blew his knee out. He was the starter before the
yeah. I mean, that's impressive stuff.
Darnell Bing.
Hey,
Darnell Bing was on that team.
I was like Darnell Bing.
He was playing safety.
Should have been a linebacker.
I was not coaching high school at the time, but I remember he was like in high school. He was like 6'2", I want to say like 210, playing free safety.
Yeah, should have been a linebacker.
So didn't have to because they had 3 other kids who were all division linebackers.
Yeah. There, I'm in the NFL. He should have been a backer.
And should have linebacker. So, but he'd walk up to the coin toss, and he'd bigger than some of the team's left tackles.
Wow.
So anyway, but I have seen teams that and again, you know, Matt Leinart, but he wasn't playing with again 5. Does Parade even do anymore? The Parade High School All-Americans? I don't even think they do it anymore.
That's a good question. Yeah, Parade was key.
I don't think they do. I don't know. Does Parade even come out anymore? Anyway, we're old. But yeah, so they had 5 All-Americans, the Gatorade Player of the Year, multiple and NFL guys. I mean, again,
Yeah,
Mercedes Lewis is still playing the NFL right now.
which is wild to me.
Who else was on that team? Manuel Wright. Manuel Wright was on that poly team.
Wow. So yeah. So I to your
Yeah.
point, I mean, yeah,
Anybody can lose.
anyone can lose.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about guys to that level on these teams. So you're right. That makes it more in doubt, obviously, the games.
Yeah.
But just the eyeball test, right? I mean, obviously,
they're
the Fairfax City MGM is going to have, double-digit favorites for Oscar Smith, probably, But Colonial Fours are a tough team, and you never know.
Yeah. Now, and I'm sure we'll get into this also when we talk the offseason. I really do think teams in Northern Virginia need to make their way down to the beach and to Richmond and play those teams during their non-district schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time you see these teams cannot be right now.
Well, you're right. You're right. Or you mean just to get that kind of speed and size on their
I think you just got to be able to judge what you're looking at, right? I mean,
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you got some teams, South County, even though they're not in Virginia, but in the state tournament, but you got them playing. Quince Orchard.
Yeah.
I mean, those are that's an elite type team.
I know. I'm 100%. Last year Hayfield played, but I think I want to see the team that I might see in the final. If I think I've got a chance to make the finals,
right,
I've got to see what they've got down there, so that way it gives me a chance to kind of go back and look at film. And these coaches are fantastic coaches, and I'm sure they get really good evaluations. But there's nothing like seeing these kids up close and personal,
right,
on the field to be like, okay. And it doesn't have to be Oscar Smith; it could be Highland Springs, or it could be someone else. But I think and what'd be really cool is right where like in basketball, right? They have the ACC Big Ten Champion Challenge, where you get matched up against all things. I think that'd be pretty cool, right? If you have
that would be cool. That would be
Concord, and I don't know what the districts are called down there, challenge, right? Where you have your first place team against their first P teams last year, and your second playing from last year, right? And you kind of get that going. I mean, I think you could even make it so you could have, two. Well, actually, they probably just. I mean, because teams went gate. But can you imagine if you had double headers? Like
that would be
teams
good.
play down there on a college field down there, and somewhere like not necessarily Tech, but somewhere down south like up there, and then up here maybe you play like you said at what you say Shenandoah or something like that, where you have those two teams playing and make an event.
Yeah. Right? I like it. I like the idea. These are going to be on the list of ideas that you have, and revamping the system.
Yeah,
but no, it's a good idea. So what do you think? What do you think? Give me a winner. Give me a winner.
Well, I mean, you got it. We've heard about Oscar Smith. What I've seen, I mean, if you would in order to take Colonial Forge, you'd have to get points. In my opinion, right? You got to hand me some points and not just 3.
Right? Yeah, I got you.
But it's any given Saturday now, right?
Any given Saturday afternoon.
You've got some talented kids at Colonial Forge who kind of clawed their way back.
Weather's going to be cold.
Weather's going to be cold, and who knows, right? Couple turnovers here and there, and all of a sudden the fourth quarter, it's a one-score game, and who knows?
That's all it takes.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're just going based off of what the teams look like right now, I mean, no one's beaten Oscar Smith. I think Oscar Smith is undefeated. I mean,
I believe that is correct.
And
so, yeah,
us too.
I think that's probably a pretty good prediction there. So, Oscar Smith probably coming out on that side of the bracket. Now we move to what essentially is the Northern Virginia State Championship game, right? This is
the old Northern region, right?
Yes, this is it. This is why you lift all them weights. This is why you do all that stuff. This is the game, right? This is the one game we've been. Now it's a rematch. Little did we know, or maybe we did know, when we talked about this game early in the year. We actually said this could very well be a preview of what's to come later on, and sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
So here you go, Lake Braddock, Madison, 2 Blue Bloods in NoVA. What do you got?
So last time they played, Madison was in control of that game for most of the game. They're up 22-0. Braddock goes and scores, makes 22-8. I think Madison scores another couple touchdowns. They're up 35-8. Around
35-8 at one point. I think that's
at one
correct.
point. Braddock gets another touchdown to kind of or 32-8 is what it was.
Yeah. That's correct.
Braddock gets another touchdown to kind of bring it within and close and like a 2-3 score game.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ends right there. So, but Madison was pretty much in control the whole game. You know, but I think this might be a different Braddock team, right? I think Peyton Holmes now has kind of gotten to the offense. Ty Jackson is the full-time starter at quarterback.
Yeah, he got most of the snaps that game. The first time they played. I mean, 14-20, 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Well, 1 interception. So it wasn't, 105 QB rating. He had a good game.
Right.
That wasn't the issue. I was looking at this, and we were talking about this before the show. Bordeaux ran, only 7 carries. I think that's the ground attack kind of got away from.
I think also because they were trailing, right?
They were trailing, right? They were trailing. Although, I mean, not the end of the world. 3-1 at halftime. That's not. You don't need to get away from it too soon. 3-1.
Well, I can't remember if Madison got the opening kickoff or got the second half kickoff, and then now all of a sudden they're up 4 scores.
Yeah, no, good question. I don't recall that either.
Up 3 scores. I can't remember exactly what it was on there.
Kai Austin did his thing. He had deep touchdown. He got he had 8 catches for 73 yards. So they checked a lot of the boxes of things that you would want to see from a Madison or from a Lake Braddock team.
Yeah.
In terms of the defense, let's see, our guy Trent Payne had a killer game. He had 12 tackles that game. I mean, Trent Payne doing his thing. No sacks by Payne. But all in all, except for the ground game. So that tells me that this week, Coach Doc and Gall and Coach Smith and company, they got together and they said, you know what? These guys think they got us because we're going to throw it on them. We're going to pound the rock. We're going to pound Bordeaux. We're going to pound.
Do you think you should play that kind of game against Madison?
No. I think you spread them out. But I'm not. I don't know. I'm not breaking the film down.
Yeah.
Right. How many times was he sacked? We don't have that. Can you look up the Madison D and see how many sacks they got?
They did not enter any stats. Madison did.
They did. So. Because that would be something that maybe they're looking at, like, we don't want to put our guy in that kind of position again. Maybe all I'm saying is this is what I'm getting at. They lost, the 2-score game, 3-score game last time with no running game.
Right.
So what do you flip around? What do you change? This time you have a running game. Now you got to be balanced. I'm not saying abandon the passing game, but you need more than 30 yards from a stud like Bordeaux, and you need more than 7 carries.
12 carries, right?
Although
they only ran 37 total plays.
Madison held that ball, didn't they? Madison they held that ball.
Yeah, which is what they're going to do, right?
Well, and that's the flip side, right? Defense, Coach Crush and company. Defense has to get off the field.
Yeah,
they got to get off the field.
I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I think based on what happened, especially last week, is you got to get Peyton Holmes involved in different ways, right? Yeah. I'm not saying he's Dominic Nicely, and I'm not saying they can't be. I'm saying right now he's not. But I think moving him around and making them account for him, because he's obviously really explosive.
He's an X factor.
He's an X factor, right? Moving him around a little bit, kind of getting him out of space, and maybe trying to expand that defense so maybe Bordeaux can get some lanes, so he can get some things going, right? Maybe that might be something that they run with, but
Kai Austin too.
Kai Austin too. Kai Austin is a receiver, but you can
use Kai Austin some other ways too, some jet sweeps and some other stuff.
You can, but I think they're gonna have a plan for. I think they're gonna have a plan for Kai Austin. It's my guess. But are they gonna have a plan? Like, what are they gonna do when Peyton Holmes motions out of the backfield? Right? I mean, how are they gonna cover him? But as you know, I've been a pretty big fan of Madison's defense all year, and I think if there's anyone that's prepared for anything like that, and also for what it's worth, they have to practice against Dominic Nicely 4 days a week.
Right.
So, there's nothing they're not really prepared for as far as explosive plays goes. But I'm just throwing out there things that I think that we may see from Braddock. Braddock's got to figure out that Madison defense, right?
Yeah, they do. They got to figure out. I mean, where's you got to find Ambrose, you got to find, Henry Iron Maiden. You got
Yeah,
to find these guys. The other thing we're not talking about though, we're not talking about Yates. I mean, they put up 30 some odd points almost 40 points last time.
right,
So, it's not all about stopping the Madison, ground attack. You got to stop nicely in the air. Yates is a composed passer,
right.
you know. Um, and you were talking earlier about Madison's, I think in the show last week about Madison's offense and how not a lot of people run that offense.
Right.
You know,
Well, we talked about during the thing, two back pro. I mean, just that is old school football right there.
yeah,
And to try to prepare for that. I'm sure they're gonna be looking at success they had last time they played against them on the ground game, and then looking at the success whatever success Fairfax had against them on the ground game as well, right?
right,
So
right.
I think that's gonna be a big part for them. But I think both these teams are relatively evenly matched.
I think so too. Lot of
Um,
talent, a lot of talent.
lot of talent on both sides, a lot of good coaching on both sides.
Yeah,
Excellent coaching, excellent talent. I mean,
yeah,
and these are our blue bloods, right?
yeah.
As far as Fairfax
Totally,
goes.
no doubt about it.
you know, both of them played some big games, but Madison's trying to get back into that championship game, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they've been knocking at the door, and much like Battlefield in the Region B, Freedom has been the one that continues to keep Madison from having a state. I mean, if it wasn't for Freedom, you may be talking about them with already having two
yeah.
state championships, right?
Dynasty.
Having a dynasty right now if it wasn't for
Yeah,
Freedom.
that's
So
true.
this is their chance to get back in that championship game and then play. Then we'll have the Northern Virginia team against the Southern Virginia team and let it all hang out. And we're gonna get that. Unless Colonial Forge knocks them off, then you could have technically a
Yeah, you could.
northern-ish all thing right there.
Northern-ish.
Northern-ish.
Northern-ish. A lot of people in staff are not happy with you right now. Now let me ask you then. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. Let's now's the time. Now's the time. Braddock, Madison, you got Tyson, Holyfield, you got Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, you got George Foreman, Ali. Who's winning this one? Who's winning this one? Heavy battle of heavyweights.
So, I've been back and forth with this, but ground game and defense, man. Ground game and defense in December. I like Madison's defense a lot. I'm not saying that Bragg plays bad defense. I'm just saying right now, I would argue that Madison might have the best defense, period, out of all four teams left. I haven't seen a ton. I'm sure they're really talented on defense, but off the teams I've seen, they have the best defense on there. Dominic Nicely is probably the best player in the field. I think that's fair to say. So I'm gonna take Madison a close one, 17-14.
Okay. Wow. Low scoring. I like that. I like that. So I was taking a little peek, looking at their schedules. I feel like you and I very similar schedules. Look very similar, very similar in terms of the quality of opponents. They played each other for one.
Each other.
At a conference. They played each other. They played Stonebridge. Now Madison played Stonebridge. But Madison also played, a down Robinson team. They did play Marshall. And that's pretty much it. Whereas Braddock got to play, obviously they played Madison. And then outside of Madison, Braddock played Westfield. They played Colgan. It was, did Colgan even make the playoffs? I don't think they did.
They did not.
They did not make the playoffs. And then that's pretty much it. So comparable, very comparable out of district games. And that's what I was going to look at to be my kind of deciding point. We used that for our Madison W&L breakdown last week as kind of the deciding point in that game. So I can't use that to gauge it here. Scrimmages, though, we do know that they scrimmaged Battlefield and Patriot. I thought that was pretty impressive scrimmages for Madison. But I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say they come out with Ty Jackson, rejuvenated, the big gun. They're going to hit Kai Austin down the field, like you said, the X factor Peyton Holmes. looking like a young Peyton, Walter Payton. All right, Priest Holmes, Trent Payne, bringing the pain like he brought it all year, maybe a couple sacks. I'm going to go with Lake Braddock. I'm going to go with Lake Braddock in another close one, a 21-14 game.
All right.
What do you think about that there, buddy? What do you think about that? And I've been right.
Mean,
I took I'm Patriot, to beat Battlefield. Okay, I was wrong in both my games last week. All right, we're gonna forget about that for a second. But I was just saying things that kind of offset you. I needed to make it fun. But I think this Braddock team, you know what? This is their chance. This is the chance. We're gonna win a state title, and it starts right here. To be the best, you got to beat the best.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if Braddock won, but I think that yeah, we'll see.
They're such even teams.
They are. Now, right now, I've been looking at the things that do like the head-to-head matchups, and they have Madison winning by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Madison would be the favorite. Madison would be what? Let's see, the old Fairfax MGM. Madison's probably like a 6-point favorite.
According all the algorithms have them being 2 touchdown favorites.
Wow, 2 touchdown favorites. That's wild. That's wild. That's what happens when you have the analytics doing the stuff. You need the old human being eyeball test. I'm not buying the analytics. Not buying the data on this one here, buddy.
You're not. Okay. All right.
I'm not an analytics guy. I'm a shoot from the hips kind of guy.
You're shooting. All right.
Probably why I strike out a lot.
Well, I mean, I would not be surprised if they won, but like I said,
it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. I think it'll be a dogfight. I mean, someone might end up pulling away at some point, but I think it'll be a dogfight, especially early.
Yeah.
Like I said, the teams are very evenly matched. I'm just looking at their opponents, looking at the scores of the games, looking at all that stuff. Very, very evenly matched squad.
Yeah. Actually, just looking up as I was going through it, there's another thing that does algorithms, and they say on a neutral field in the playoffs, they've got Madison by 21 points.
Wow, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and these things hit at like a 90% clip.
Wow. Jeez. Well,
but that's why you play the game, right?
That's why you play. That's what Herm Edwards would say. That's why you play the game. You can't listen to this stuff.
What do computers know, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't. It's cold, right? I mean, balls are popping out all over the place. People are dropping balls, fumbling. I mean, you look at the Westfield game. Talk about Madison and their special teams blunders in that game. They almost lost that game because of special teams mistakes. You do that in a game of this magnitude, you're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean,
you just can't account for the human error.
Yeah, well, you're right. You can't. You're right.
So, yeah, that's it, man. And we're going to be at that game. We're going to try and go live. We're going to try and do a live pregame. I spoke to people over at Madison, and they assure us that it's going to be top quality, like a fillet, like a nice fine menu.
Chairs made of fine Corinthian leather.
The finest Corinthian leather, like Roberto Montalban might once said. All right, it's going to be fantastic. Ricardo Montalban,
yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a good time. Maybe we'll stop and get some chili dogs. We don't know. Maybe you'll get some ranch salads, some salad with your ranch on it. I'll get some cheese fries because that's how I.
The Vienna Inn. What do they? They have good burgers there. What do they have?
It's the Vienna Inn. It's an institution.
I'm not from here.
It's been around forever. Chili dogs.
I'm picturing like a dive place in my head.
It is a dive place.
Okay.
It is a dive place. We were going there in high school. It's a total dive.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. That's the kind of place. Vienna. One thing about Vienna, downtown Vienna, they got a lot of like old mom and pop restaurants. They got the chain stuff too. A little bit of everything. You're gonna like downtown Vienna. I guarantee you. That was at George Zimmer. You're gonna like it. I guarantee it.
Hey, if anyone from Vienna is listening, maybe we can comp us a meal, huh?
Maybe a Vienna Inn. Yeah, Vienna Inn. If you're listening, maybe do the old Dash and Dan hot dog. We could talk about maybe Mace will put ranch on the hot dog.
Sounds awful.
It's terrible. You got to have a unique twist on things, though. Sometimes, maybe put some Russian dressing on it. So it's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. And if you see us there, come by and say hello. We did our live at the Tuesday before Thanksgiving game, and that was a blast, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fun.
We got to see everybody. People came by and said hello, introduced themselves to us. Big fans of the show. It was actually mind-boggling.
Yes, it was. To this day, I'll never understand it.
Oh, and the officials. I know the official was going to come. We talked to one of the head officials,
Yeah.
county, and reach out to us. He said he was going to reach out to us. And
didn't someone ask us today? They were like, "Did you think that what you think was going to happen? Like, what did you really think was going to happen?"
Oh, when we started the show.
Yeah, and we were like, nothing. We didn't think anything was going to happen. We thought it was going to be us talking to each other for about 6 games, and we were like,
That's right.
Let's talk.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right. Someone asked us that today. They said, when you guys started this thing, is this what you guys thought was going to happen? And we're like, no, we didn't think that at all.
Over under, how many subscribers do you think we were going to get by the end of the year? What realistic? What do you think we're going to get?
Yeah, like 20.
Yeah. And 15 of them would have been our family.
Yes, something like that, right?
But we're like 310, 315.
It's wild. On our way to 400 or bust, buddy. 400 or bust.
Yeah.
And we look forward to the offseason. I know we still got another show left of the season, right? We're going to break down this game.
Well, we got a couple shows. We'll do a wrap up, and then we got to do a draft.
Right. So we got at least 2 shows in regards to this season, though, itself. We got at least, as far as games being played, we got the wrap up for the state semis, right? After Friday, and then we'll do Saturday games, and then we'll do a preview of the state final game, right? And then a wrap up of that game. So we still got a handful of shows left, just talking football.
Yeah, and also moving into the offseason, if your kid signs with anybody, let us know. I think you and I'd like to keep a list of I think to kind of publish a list saying, hey, these are where the Northern Virginia kids are playing next year.
Yeah.
No school is too small.
Not at all.
Maybe your kids are playing. Let us know. I mean, I'm sure every kid we get tagged in, I'm sure every show, every week, we'll be like, hey, just an update.
Yeah.
Johnny Smith is going to be playing at Shenandoah next year. All right. Johnny, right? And,
right. And we were talking about this in the offseason, we like to bring on some, Division III coaches, Division II coaches, scouts, any college coaches or scouts who want to come on.
Community college coaches, that community colleges coaches I know, we'll bring them on.
Right, that recruit this area. You look on the Twitter timelines, and we're well aware that Northern Virginia, is a hotbed for Division III, Division II football, right? A lot of really good. I'm not Division I as well, obviously, but not like in the numbers, right? In the numbers of Division III that you see, and to get some of these coaches on here and what they like about Northern Virginia kids, what any of these coaches like, right? What Northern Virginia kids bring to their programs and what it is about them that they like. So these are all topics we want to have. But first, we'll probably go over, some of our ways to make everything better.
We got a few.
We got some ideas. So it's gonna be a fun off season. But before the off season, we still got games left. We still got some games left. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. We remembered about the merchandise. We mentioned it. Subscribe. That's the other thing I always forget, right? If you're listening, subscribe, hit the button. Make sure you do. Again, if you're anything like me or Mesa, sometimes you watch this show and you don't hit the button, because I know I don't hit the button nearly enough when I'm watching things on YouTube. So if you're watching it, please make sure you hit the button, subscribe.
One more thing too about the offseason. If you have any suggestions on things that you'd like to hear us talk about in the offseason, tweet at us, let us know, give us something. Yeah. Although no one listens to this part of the show, so
they might, because we were teasing stuff. So maybe they will. Maybe they will.
Probably bring that up too in the beginning.
Yeah.
Actually, we should probably tweet that out, right? Anybody has an idea of stuff they'd like to hear us talk about in the off season?
Yeah, for sure. Topics.
Yeah,
fun topics. Well, only a few days away, my friend. A few days away until big game Saturday.
Only 3 games left in the foot. God, man, it goes by fast, doesn't it?
It goes by so fast. It goes by a lot faster when you're not coaching too.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. You're not. Well, we did grind a lot this year though. We were watching a lot of games.
Watching a lot.
A lot of
I may
games.
have watched more. As you know, I'm a minimalist coach, so
Yeah.
I can't. I have I have my tricks, and I'm like I think I'm good.
Well, for Dash and Mesa, it's been fun. Don't forget about that merchandise, by the way. It's there. I'm gonna resend that link today. It's been fun having you guys on, and tune in next time from All Hitches.
Actually, tune in on Saturday
Tune in Saturday for the live show.
for the live show.
A live show extravaganza.
Yes.
Love that word. Love that word, extravaganza. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time from All Hitches.
See you.